Hello again. Thanks for watching the video and studying your math with me. Today's topic is percents and fractions. So the objectives are we will write percents as fractions, we will write fractions as percent, and we will learn about a table of percent equivalents that frequently is used. Now this is part of the ongoing effort where we will change percents to fractions and back and forth, and decimals to fractions back and forth, and decimals to percents back and forth. So you really want to be proficient at all of these as you go forward. We begin by reviewing an equation that we learned last time. That whenever we say p%, that's the same thing as writing the number p without the percent on top of 100 and writing it as a fraction. Now, this section also provides a whole bunch of tables. And so the tables on the following slides show common and not so common fractions and mixed numbers and their decimal and percent equivalent. The more you work with them, the more familiar they will become. But it's important that you remember you can get these answers by direct calculation regardless of memorizing them. And since our assessments are not timed, you should be in good shape with that. So starting with the lower percentages first, we have this batch of equivalences. Again, notice that this would be 2 over 100, which in lowest terms would be 1 over 50. So these are always put into lowest terms. We move up a bit to talk about other fractions. This would be 10 over 100, or 1 over 10 in lowest terms. 20 over 100, which would be 1 over 5 in lowest terms. 40 over 100, which would be 2 over 5 in lowest terms. Six over 10, which would be 3 over 5 in lowest terms. 8 out of 10, which would be 80 out of 100, which would be 8 tenths, which would be 4 over 5 in lowest terms. And you can even have mixed numbers. For example, if you have 33 1/3% as an exact number, that's going to be 133% as an exact number. That's going to be a whole number of ones and 3 repeating as a decimal, and you will get 3 over 2 or 1 1/2 written as a mixed number, and so on and so forth. And we recall that 200% is multiplying by 2. So let's do a couple of examples. So here the directions say write each fraction as a percent and round to the nearest tenth of percent if necessary. So the problem we'll call 2e. Later we would take 12 and we will divide that into 7.00 and round to the nearest tenth of a percent, so we have to go a little further perhaps. We'll see how far we really have to go. Okay, so this will go in here 5 times, and that is going to be 60. We will subtract, and we will get 8 as our next division fact, and we will divide, and we'll get 40, and this will go 3 times for 36. And we get 4 and bring down the 0, and we see that the 3 is going to be repeating because we keep getting 40 again and again. And so the answer to this is we want to write it as a percent, and we found out what it was as its decimal. So this would equal exactly 58 1/3%, or 58.3% as a approximate number, or approximately equal to that. Here we have 4 and 5 over 8, and so this is going to be, when I multiply this, 4 times 8 is 32, and 5 is 37 over 8. So now we'll do this division. So 8 will go into 37, there's where the decimal point is, and it will go 4 times for 32, That'll be 50. This is going to be point, and that will go in there 6 times for 48. And we will subtract, and that will go 2 times, and I'll multiply around, and I will get 16 and 4, bring down the 0, that'll be 5. So this is exactly 462.5%. Let's look at some more examples. Here, we want to write each percent as a fraction or a mixed number, and as always, we put things in lowest terms. So this one is going to be 320 over 100, and 4 certainly will go into both of these. And so if I take 4 into the top, in fact 40 will go into the, let's see, 4 will go into it. So let's take 4 goes into 320. That's going to be 80 times. So this is 80 over 25, and 5 will go into both of those. And so this is going to be, let's see, we will go ahead and we want to write this as a fraction in lowest terms. So 25, or a mixed number, 25 will go into 80, 3 times for 75, and we subtract, we get that, so it's 3.2, and that will be 3 and 0.2 is 1/5, so it's 3 and 1/5, written it as a mixed number. Here we have 9.76 without the percent, and we're dividing this by 100. Okay, and now I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 100 to move the decimal point. So this is the same thing as 976 over 10000. And now I'm going to take 16 into both of these numbers and see what happens. So 16 goes into the top, 976. It goes 6 times for 96, and this, so that ends up being 61 over, and I take 16 into 10,000, and I'm going to get 69640. That's going to be let's see, that is going to go twice. That's going to be 32, and that's going to be 80, and that's going to be 5. This is 625, and that is lowest terms because 61 is a prime number. And last but not least, 61 is a prime number that doesn't go into 625. And now we will look at this one. This is, let's do it this way, it's 44 and 4 over 9, all divided by 100. Now this is going to be 400 over 9 if I change that mixed number into a fraction, and then this is going to be over 100. So this is 400 over 9 divided by 100 over 1. So that is the same thing as 400 over 9 times 1 over 100. That goes into that once, and 4, so the answer is 4 over 9 to that problem. Now, we're approaching a work area, so after I show you the problems, you should pause these, try to work the problems, and then I will be back in a bit and show you the answers, and you can ask questions and go from there. So here are some problems that you would perhaps want to try, and I'll be back in a bit. Well, I'm back in a bit. Here are the answers to these problems. Again, you might want to pause the video to write down these answers or check your answers. And that brings us to a close of this lecture. I want to remind you that time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math. It will make you strong. A serious student is going to want to read the section in the book and do some of the problems and go from there. I'll look forward to seeing you in class. Take care.